everyone, welcome to Laura Lee TV. We are here today to talk about how to get into a startup accelerator program. Because last year my startup participated in 4 accelerator programs in 1 year, and a lot of people ask me, 1, why on earth would you do that? That sounds crazy stressful, and it was. And then 2, how did you manage to get into so many programs in such a short amount of time? So we actually got into the Women in XR Fund's
accelerator program. We got into South by Southwest's accelerator program. We got into Mass Challenge, which is a global accelerator. And then we got into Ready Set Raise, which is an accelerator by the Female Founders Alliance, and it's just for female-founded companies.
We did all of those back to back. It was a pretty crazy 2018. So I wanted to take the time to share with you guys what we did to get into all these programs and help you decide if a startup accelerator is the right choice for you and your startup. With that, let's get into it. Okay, so what even is a startup accelerator? Everyone kind of defines themselves differently, so I'm just going to read the definition from the Harvard Business Review. I can't even say the name. From the Harvard Business Review. Seems legit. They summarize it pretty well. So startup accelerators are for early growth stage companies, and accelerators support these companies through mentorship, education, and financing. Accelerator programs run for a fixed amount of time. It's usually 12 to 16 weeks, but that can be longer. While you're in the accelerator, you go through a rapid and very intense immersive program. That program is aimed at accelerating the life cycle of your early stage company. The idea is that you learn by doing and you compress years of experience, trial and error, and iterations into just a few short weeks or a couple of months. Pretty much all startup accelerators, no matter where you are for a fixed period of time. Like I said, usually 12 to 16 weeks, can be shorter, can be longer. And they all culminate in a demo day where all of the startups pitch their company to an audience of investors. The goal for all of the startups in the accelerator is to get their company to a place very quickly where they are attractive to investors, venture capitalists, maybe an incubator, so that they can get financing to continue to grow their company. So next step, how do you know if a startup accelerator is right for you and your startup? Well, even though there are lots of different kinds of accelerator programs, and we will get to that in the next step, they all have a couple things in common. In order to be eligible for an accelerator, you generally have to be working on a scalable business or a scalable product. So that means that there's no limit to how many people could use your product offering. So things like coaching, advising, consulting, those things are not scalable, and you generally wouldn't be able to do an accelerator program for those types of businesses. For most accelerators, before you apply, you also have to be incorporated. There are some exceptions to this rule. Some accelerators will take you at idea stage and they will help you get incorporated through the course of the program, but a lot of them require you to be incorporated before you apply, and the preferred incorporation in the United States is as a Delaware C Corp. If your business makes a consumer-facing product, so something that everyday people use day to day, and it's not a B2B product, for most accelerators you have to already demonstrate some traction and have some people using whatever you've built. Again, not a blanket rule, but generally that's what they like to see. Of course, the goal of all of this is to raise venture capital, so you have to want to do that in your company and have that as a goal. Otherwise, there's not really much point in doing an accelerator program. And then finally, most accelerators require that your business is more than one person. A lot of accelerators will not take solo founders. You have to either have a co-founder and there's 2 of you, or have already hired staff and have people on your team already. And just from personal experience, accelerators are very intense, and I would not want to go through any of them alone. You definitely want a support system there to help you, because you have to get a lot of things done very quickly, and it's very stressful. And it was stressful enough. We have 3 founders at our company. I could not imagine doing it with just one person. Step 3, decide what type of accelerator is right for your company. There are accelerators out there like YC, 500 Startups, and Techstars that take startups from all different categories, and they take a really general selection across the board. And then there are accelerators that are for specific verticals or for specific founder categories. For example, we participated in the Female Founders Alliance Accelerator Program and the Women in XR Accelerator Program. And both of those are for companies that are female founded. I will add links to all of the accelerators I mentioned in the description below. There are also different types of accelerators depending on the product. So there are specific accelerators if you have a physical hardware product. There are ones for fintech, there are ones for education technology, there are ones for consumer packaged goods. So you really just have to do your homework and research and see which one is right for you. One of the ways you can do that is when you find an accelerator that you think might be a good fit, look at the previous cohorts and see who's gone through that accelerator. Take a look at those companies and see if you kind of fit with that group. Step 4 is the actual application. Make sure you keep a close eye on application deadlines and when they open and close. All of the applications are different, but most of them ask for at least 2 things. The first thing is a pitch deck, and then most of them also ask for a pitch video. I do have a seed deck template on my website. I will link that below. And then we also have a free cheat sheet to help you build out your pitch deck. For the pitch video, no one requires anything fancy. You don't have to hire a production team. Your phone is more than enough, and you can edit it on iMovie and just put it together, making sure to cut out any dead air. Most of these videos are pretty short. They don't want anything too extravagant, like it's 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and you really only have that amount of time to get across what you're doing, who your team is, and why you're doing what you're doing. Step 5 is your digital footprint. As soon as you start applying to these programs and people start reviewing the applications, one of the first things they do is Google you. I don't know how many people will actually admit to this, but I know it happens because I see our website traffic go up whenever we go through an application period. So people are definitely looking at your website, they're looking at you, they're looking at your LinkedIn and your social media. So it's a pretty good idea that before you submit the application, make sure you have all of these things prepared. Even if you are just in idea stage, you should have a website for your startup or for your idea. Squarespace is great. We put together a website on Squarespace literally in an afternoon. They have pretty great templates. You can buy your URL for them. It's really a one-stop shop. This is not sponsored. I wish it was. Squarespace is great. Go make a website with them. Next up is LinkedIn. A lot of people neglect LinkedIn, and it's usually the first thing that shows up when someone Googles you. So your company or your idea, if you haven't actually made the company yet, should have its own LinkedIn page with links out to the website, your social media, and just include a couple posts and a company description. And then your personal LinkedIn should be cleaned up. Make sure you have a good profile picture that looks kind of professional. Again, you don't have to go hire an entire photography team to get this done. A phone in front of a white wall is more than enough. And then finally, make sure you have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. If that's important for your company, make sure that those are all there and they're cleaned up and nice and don't have anything that is off-brand on them. Consumer-facing companies, the things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are going to be a lot more important than B2B. And if you're B2B, your LinkedIn should be on point. So those are the 5 tips for how to get into an accelerator program of your startup dreams. If you are a female-founded company, the startup accelerator we participated in at the end of last year is called Ready, Set, Raise. They are currently doing cohort 2, so I will leave their information below if you would like to apply. The requirements for Ready, Set, Raise is that your startup must have at least 1 female founder. The other startup accelerator that is open right now that we participated in is the Mass Challenge Accelerator. They are accepting applications for their Houston cohort. You don't have to be in Houston, but it does help, and I do have a discount code for that one, which I will put up on the screen right now. That is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this, please hit subscribe. We would love to have you here. Okay, that is all for now, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.